Welcome everybody. It is me, T, and this is Sewing Thursday with T. I blog over at Sewing by T, and I have my fabric shop here at Simply by T. So today we've got some really good things to talk about. Today we are talking about marking pens, and there are many different kinds. So we'll cover some and which ones work best for me and how to save money on those, because of course we want to save money. And then also on sewing bands. There are several different methods out there for sewing your bands, and you want to make sure that you're using the best one for your project. So I want to make sure that as you're joining in, you hop on and say hi, just like Karen. Hi, Karen. Make sure that you like this post and you hit share so that lots of people will get to see it today. So today I am wearing my Patterns for Pirates wiggle dress, and of course you can't see the whole thing because you can only see from here up, but I can tell you that I am pretty impressed with this pattern and I have big plans for it. Welcome Lori, welcome Daisy, thank you everybody for joining me. So I'm going to go ahead and get started because I've got a lot of things to cover, including our new sparkly fabrics for the shop. I do have a cold. I'm going to do my best not to sniffle or snuffle or blow my nose during this video, but I want to apologize in advance because there's nothing I can do about it. Postnasal drip is not my friend. So I'm going to start with pens. Yes, Karen, I will get this all blogged up. My life has been insane. We've been sick for 3 days, and that definitely cuts into my taking pictures time. This is the best I've looked in 3 days. And there's a lot of concealer on this face. So pens. When I was first learning to sew, I assumed that I didn't really need special marking pens. And I actually just snagged some markers from my kids' stuff, and I used super washable markers on my projects. And let me tell you, these do work, and most of the time they do wash out, which is great. But kids marking pens, yeah, these are the fat ones, and they have these big fat tips, and even the skinny ones have big fat tips, and they're not fabulous for marking your fabric, especially if you're trying to mark something like a bust dart. Yeah, this is going to give you too much variation in where you're supposed to be sewing. But in a pinch, these are your friends, okay? Always test it on a swatch of fabric before you go putting it on your good project. You do not want to ruin it. The advantage is that they come in all these pretty colors, but no matter what, these pretty colors aren't going to mark on black. So what's a girl to do? We have Pilot friction pens. Let's see if we can get this focused here. So I actually had to buy this 10-pack of pens at my local Walmart to just get this one friction pen. And as you can see, I did not open this package because I'm honestly not going to use this friction pen. Now, I've heard lots of people raving about friction pens. And while I'm sitting here talking about pens, go ahead and type in the comments what kind of marking tools that you're using for your projects, because I want to know, maybe I'm missing out on something really good. But I've heard people rave about friction pens. And in theory, they are really good, but I've never used one. So what am I using? I went on AliExpress because friction pens are like $2 a piece, and I don't want to pay $2 a piece. And the first thing I ordered was these cutesy little ones. Let's get that zoomed in there for you. And it has a really nice sharp tip, and they are fully erasable, and they are amazing. And I think I paid 30 cents a piece. Okay, that's great. But these pens only come in black. And what do you do when you need to mark on black fabric? Well, that won't work. And Karen over here is saying she uses chalk. And chalk can be good, but it's not always very precise as opposed to this very, 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 very fine tipped pen. So what do you use for writing on black fabric? I actually bought these erasable gel pens for my daughter for Christmas last year, but they are erasable, and I paid $5 for a set of 10, and they come in all these pretty colors, and guess what? They come out just as easily as friction pens. So I can hit it with steam and boom, it's gone. So these are only the 5 that we could find, and I usually keep this yellow one in my stash because I find yellow is the most universal color. I don't use a lot of yellow fabric. Sorry, I'm going to sneeze. Or not. Okay, maybe not. So yellow works good on white. Yellow works good on black. And they wash out perfectly. So sometimes when I hit them with the iron, they will leave a little, almost like a gray mark that has washed out every single time with a little bit of soap and water. So I absolutely love, love, love erasable gel pens for sewing and marking. They have fabulous fine little pen tips as opposed to a marker or those felt pens that you can buy from like Clover. I just feel like these are going to give you the best, most precise dots. So if you need to mark a bust start, if you're just marking out spots where sleeves are supposed to fit in, these are going to be your friend. So what brand are these? This doesn't make any sense. So I have to admit, I ordered these on AliExpress, and I will share the link because I don't understand what brand this is supposed to say. It has like too many vowels and not enough consonants in between. Doesn't make any sense unless that's supposed to be like the number 11. So I will be sure to share the link. But like I said, $5, free shipping. You can order all different pretty colors. Just make sure they're erasable. And there is one other pen that I have in my stash that I like to keep. And this is it. This is actually called a laundry pen. And this pen will mark on anything and it will not wash off. So I use this for my kids when I've made several items that are all the same. And so rather than having to compare, is this size, is this size, then I'll just write on the inside seam, this is size 7 or whatever. So I like these pens. I bought a dozen of them on Wawac just so that I can keep track of my kids' clothes. So if you need a pen for just marking your kids' clothes, this one has a really nice fine tip. I've also bought some pens at Joann's, but they had a much thicker tip and it wasn't as easy to mark my kids' clothes. So today, as I was browsing Facebook, while my kids and I were sitting there doing schoolwork, I heard a new term, and it's called a ham hot band. And essentially what it is a quicker way of sewing a sleeve band. So let me show you how that would work. So you've got your band piece, and this is a piece of flannel, so obviously not something I would make into a band, but it'll get the point across. So you take your band and you fold it the long way, like a hamburger, and then you fold it the short way, like a hot dog, and then you would sew this seam right here. Okay, and the point of this is that it's supposed to go much faster. And I had never seen this method before, and I have to admit I don't like it. But I'm not just going to tell you I don't like it because that seems a little bit unfair. So why don't I like ham hot? So I sewed this seam right here is a ham hot, and you can turn it and your piece is all done. What I don't like is how thick this seam is right here. That really, really bothers me. My kids are picky about how their clothes feel, and that would annoy them. Oh, bless me. Sorry, I said I was going to sneeze, but I didn't really know when. So I've got two alternative methods for you. Method number 1 uses a regular sewing machine. You sew your seam, you iron it flat, and you fold it together. I like this method because this seam right here is nice and even, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 layers of fabric on each side, whereas your ham hot has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers on just that one side. And that's going to create a bump when you go to sew over it, and that could actually cause your machine to skip stitches. Now, when I'm sewing bands, I generally use this method. You don't have to use a serger for your bands because nobody's going to see that seam in there, and you're going to be able to press it so much flatter without all those serger stitches. But let's say you're in a rush and you really do want to use your serger. Okay, so let's use our serger, but I'm about to show you a trick. Fold your seam in half. You're going to take a pair of scissors and you're going to clip up to, but not through that seam. Okay? Oh, nuts. My nose is running. Sorry. Okay, so now when we fold this, we can press one seam to the left and one seam to the right, and you're going to get, and obviously this isn't perfect, but you're going to get this nice flat seam like this. So just like my sewing machine seam, I only have 4 layers of fabric here rather than the ham hot method. So if you want to use your serger, you want to be fast, clip up to but not through, and then you can fold it one on each side, and that'll give you a nice flat seam. So yes, clip up to the inner stitch line. And as you know, your serger seams aren't just going to come flying apart. So you can just press them open, and that's going to give you that same flat seam without having all the bulk to one side or the other. But like I said, I really prefer to just sew them on my sewing machine. That's going to give you the flattest, nicest seam. You can press it out and it just looks so soft and smooth, and it sews up a lot smoother as you're going over that little hump, because there is no hump compared to this, which is the serger, which has a small hump, or your ham hot, which is a huge hump. So for nicer finishing, either go with the serger and clip that seam, or just use your sewing machine. It's going to look a lot nicer. All right, so I actually cut today's class way short because my fabric samples came in, and I want to be able to show those to you. So I've got a bunch of different stuff. I am going to be sending out a newsletter tomorrow morning. The newsletter is going to include a link to a poll. The poll is going to allow you to vote for your top 5 favorites of the fabrics that I have. So if there is something you want, you're going to want to make sure that you go and vote in that poll, because otherwise I'm just going to pick the ones I like, and you might like the same ones as me, or you might not. So up first is this coral, and this is actually a sweater knit. I'm hoping I can get it close enough so you can see all those little stitches. These are fairly lightweight. They would make a fabulous sweater, like an actual sweater to wear over like a tank top for a party. And this is the coral color, and you can see it has really great horizontal stretch and not a lot of vertical. I do not know for certain all of the fabric contents on these. I do know that they are all part poly and part spandex. And this one's the coral. And like I said, it's a sweater knit. So I've got ideas for this. So please vote for this one. The same type of fabric, just in white and silver instead. Oh, don't get stuck together. All right, and this one is white and silver. Like I said, these would look fabulous. This is a coral, not a true pink, but more a coral pink. And you can compare it to kind of get a better color idea. This one is white with silver. This is the coral with silver. Yeah, silver. Looks a little bit gold because of the coral. But yes, so we've got the coral. It's a sweater knit. And this white is a sweater knit. Not the loose sweater knits that I have in the shop now, but definitely a tighter weave. But it is a little bit sheer, so you're not going to want to wear that without something underneath it. Okay, I have this black and gold. Now, this is super sparkly, and it feels really stable, like a Ponte. I don't know for sure that it actually is a Ponte. It's a little bit hard to tell, but it does act like one. And I think this would make the most amazing wiggle dress, like over the top, fabulous, just belle of the ball. So this one's black and gold. It only has horizontal stretch, no vertical stretch, and it acts like a Ponte. Next one is this black and silver one. And I'm a little bit disappointed in this one, but maybe somebody has some ideas. So this black and silver has stretch this way and no stretch that way. I would have wanted to wear it like this, which means that you'd have to do something that's meant for very, very stable knits. But the silver is really, really sharp on this and very reflective. You can almost see my ring light with this, and would make, like I said, another fabulous dress. It does have lots of stretch, but not going along with the stripes. Next, I've got a cobalt blue. Let's see. And it's got like a pinky peach shimmer to it, and it's a little hard. Let's see if I can get the color to show. So that one's really pretty. It's a little bit more sheer than I would like. Like I can see the screen through this fabric, and I don't know what I would do with it, but it's pretty, and I couldn't pass it up because I just love things that sparkle. So that one's really cool. Next, I've got two that look very, very similar, but they are not the same. So this is black and silver, and you can see it's got a very dense silver color to it, and it has horizontal stretch and vertical stretch. It's a little bit lightweight. I don't know, maybe it could be worn on its own. Like you can't see what's going on back here, even though with the light I can. You know, this would make some pretty amazing black and silver leggings. Or you could also take the wolf in the tree, the gazelles, and make yourself some silver tights. Like that would be over the top amazing. And it does have a very polyester feel. Like I said, all of them are some kind of polyester blend, but I do like this one. But I think it would be fabulous as leggings under like a mini dress or something. Really cool fabric. This next one looks similar, but it's not. So you see all that little sparkle? It actually has a texture to it. So it has a fabulous texture. So I don't know that I would recommend it for leggings so much because of how much it's going to rub in between your legs and you're going to lose all that glitter. Definitely as a dress, I almost think this would look fabulous as like a Lil Luxe, what is it called? The Starlight City dress. This would be fabulous. You definitely want to think about how you're going to line it, but really, really pretty, really, really sparkly. I just love it. That one's the same. Now, they did send this white one. This looks to me to be very much like a nylon spandex. It only has a little bit of stretch. Actually, I'm looking at it. This is a woven. So I'm guessing it's like a poly spandex woven kind of thing. Very, very shiny. I don't know. White isn't my thing, so I'm not attracted to this one just because I don't love white. I'm a messy person by nature. I stain everything. But it's really pretty, has a fabulous sheen to it. You can see how the light is reflecting off it. But this is a woven, not a knit. All right, here is the pretty purple one that everybody was looking at. Let me remove this tape so we can get a good look at it. So this is the purple. It has textured purple dots. No, I do not have glitter all over the place here, Diane. I think I would be going crazy here if this was like a glitter bomb went off, but it's not. They are either woven into the fabric itself, like the sweater knits, or they are really well attached. So I'm over here rubbing it, and there is no glitter coming off. There's no glitter on my hands. See? No glitter. I'm not sparkly. There's glitter on my face, but I put that there. So this purple is really, really pretty. And this purple is a textured knit. So the sparkles are textured. We've got horizontal stretch and actually, hold on. It's okay. It's this way. Okay. So the horizontal stretch is really good and the vertical stretch is minimal, but again, so these textured ones could be a bit scratchy. So I wouldn't recommend using them as a lining because that texture, you're not going to want that texture against your skin. But it would work perfectly as a dress. It's not like scratchy, like going to scratch my skin, but just a little bit too sensitive to have pressed against your body. So this one, like I said, the textured ones, and I will make sure that when I make the poll that I mention which ones have texture and which ones are smooth, because most of them are smooth. But yes, this purple is so, so pretty. This one actually has me thinking about the new Younique makeup palette that came out. And it is actually a black base, you can see that here, with this beautiful cobalt glitter on it. And this one is perfectly smooth, not the least bit scratchy, lots of good horizontal stretch, no vertical stretch on this one. As you can see, you can kind of see my shirt design through it. So this is not going to be something that you're going to wear with nothing under it. But like I said, I love these looks with like a pretty lace cami underneath, and it's kind of like just an overshirt type thing, so that you get all the sparkle without having to worry about whether your top is see-through. But this one is so, so pretty. All right, this color is, this is navy. And this one's gonna be hard for you to see through the computer because of how the glitter reflects. So this is actually navy. Let me show you this side. So this is navy, and the glitter is gold. And it's perfectly smooth, so there's no texture to it. And this looks to be a woven. So it's got just a little bit of mechanical stretch there, but this is a woven fabric. So if you have plans for something that is woven, this is a great product. And again, it's got a nice, good drape, and it is not scratchy. The same type of fabric, this one's a burgundy. So here's, it's looking kind of purple here, but it's more of a burgundy with gold sparkle. And again, this is a woven, not a knit. So keep in mind, I will make sure that as I'm going through doing the poll, that I list which is a woven, which is a knit, whether they have texture, but this is nice and smooth. This next one is not smooth, but it is so pretty. So this is white, and it's got little tiny golden squares on it. And they are raised squares. They're not scratchy, but not something you'll want against your skin. It is a little bit stretchy that way and a lot stretchy this way. Let's see. Okay, so this is the horizontal. So you've got plenty of stretch that way, a little bit of stretch this way, and these would all make fabulous sweaters that you wear over something else. Some of them would be okay on their own, and I will do my best to list all of that when we go through the poll. But this one's white with gold, and like I said, the little dots are little tiny squares. And as you can see, I'm rubbing it. I don't have squares coming off. I don't have glitter ending up everywhere. So that's really important to me. I don't like the idea of a glitter bomb going off. This last one, I haven't decided how I feel about it yet. And it is the last one. So it is on a black base. And then it has the silver dotted ruffles. Now this would have been fabulous if I could have found this for my Halloween costume, because then I could have done flapper and been super in love with that. So it has good horizontal stretch, not a lot of vertical stretch, and the mesh underneath is kind of sheer. So let's see if we can get it. So you can see me. Excuse me. But with the overlap, it is not. So that is 15 fabrics that I have. I can tell you honestly that these sweater knits are definitely on my personal list of fabrics that I just love and I really think we should have in the shop. The other one is this Ponte, because it has good stretch. I think it would make a fabulous wiggle dress, like I said, and like just replace this fabric all over. Like I am ready to party. Which other ones? Ooh, this one. This one's also a favorite of mine because it's almost like a gunmetal gray. Lori, I don't know how you're only going to pick 5. That's why I'm making you guys do the picking and not me, because I kind of want them all, but I also have to be practical because I'm not going to be able to wear glitter all day, every day for the rest of the year. Like there's going to be days where I have to be more practical. So I'm going to get the poll put together. It's going to go out in the newsletter. If you have questions before you vote, go ahead and ask me. Like I said, I'm going to try to do a nice detailed description for every single fabric so that you're sure whether it has texture, whether it's a woven, it's a knit, a general idea of what kind of stretch percentages there are. You know that I have a thing for black, so if you want a color other than black, you're going to want to make sure that you vote. So thank you for joining me. I'm sorry that we went way over today, but I wanted to make sure that I got to show you all of those fabrics. Feel free to go back and rewatch this section over and over and over again. Karen over here is asking me how to launder these. So because they're a polyester knit and we don't know a lot about them, you can take your chances and wash a swatch and see what happens. It might melt. I can't promise. Or you can wash them on a gentle cycle and hang dry them and be certain that they're going to keep looking exactly the same way. That is my suggestion, is to wash them on a gentle cycle, hang dry, and your fabric is going to last forever. But if you're feeling adventurous, throw it in the dryer and let us know what happens. So thank you for joining me. And like I said, the newsletter will go out early tomorrow morning. So I've got some work to do tonight. And I will see you next week.